Make sure that Look Out for Charlie actually knows what we're talking about with phased array. Charlie, frequency oscillation modulation coming off the Wi-Fi router. It's fucking easy. Like, it's fucking easy. Why? Channel aggregation, Charlie. This is why I tell people that the only thing we're shaking is your ELF, extremely low frequency. If that were the case, then we wouldn't be inside their body. And we are. For 20 years. So please update what you're looking at with this earbuds and all the different ways of dealing with it. Because we are perturbating them extremely low frequency, band shell effect in their house, right? What about when we fly a drone over their home and target their body area network, sir? How are we doing that? How are we executing that physical change? Because we're not sending out one big signal with hitting a few markers, biomarkers, Charlie, that's what they're called, and then just let it go. That's not how it works. We have smart warehouses that fly as well as drones, as well as little planes, black boxes, dirt box bouncing around. Then there's the cell phone towers. Every single one of those data routes have a routing protocol and a heuristic or meta-heuristic or bioelectromagnetic algorithm. So we pass that low signal down here in the ground. That big one comes up and bounces back and forth into what? Well, maybe the Doppler, maybe the side of the house, and maybe your actual targeting you body part for perturbation, shaking their cells electrically apart. Now, this is addressed only to Look Out for Charlie because he knows a lot more than what he lets on with people for whatever reason. I don't care. That's his business, not mine. Interesting. We have a broken crystal over here that I didn't know was broken. So, Project Salus, since my dad was in with a draft number 3 in 1969 over top of A-9 elephant cage antennas, Misawa, Japan, San Vito, Italy, Brindisi Air Force Station near Greece. So the point, Charlie, is that they have been at this for a long time. The Internet of Things was using the actual beacon mesh-enabled stuff when I was a kid in 1979. So we have decoupled the electrical state of humans using mathematical formulae, which are on the channel. I'm going to have to leave that link here. It's just one of them to get you started. We have the MIMO, and then I'll put them on here, the MIMO and the one about the radar. So we are uncoupling the cellular state. We are uncoupling the Schumann resonance specifically with the we're hacked the golden ratio to do it. And we have the scalar, meaning from the nano back to the macro for my purposes, coming and going at individual rates of phase velocity and phase states of cellular change or else we couldn't offer the precision AI healthcare we've been offering with the FCC mandated medical body area network with individual organs. Therefore, Project Salus watching your cells for phage and phase state change. Now, I know you know how to build a subwoofer, and I know you know how to build a proper floor standing speaker, and it breathes like a diaphragm, doesn't she? Okay. You're talking about the same electrical engineers, Mr. Charlie, that went ahead and did all that with Iasca. They were checking decibels for biofield perturbations, sir. They were not just checking for music. So once you understand that we're doing that, tell me how. Metamaterials, Charlie. Terahertz software-defined metamaterials. No maybes. We have the 6th generation metamaterials, these teeny tiny nano size, could be a satellite, could be just the Bluetooth 802.15.5 wireless sensor networks or Zigbee. They have multiple different kinds of body sensor networks, wireless sensor networks, on the body, in the body. Terahertz defined networks that pop up ad hoc, Batman and the rest of it, and go back down again. And that's your metamaterials, and they come up and go down. What do? Block, absorb, enhance, bend the wave. And what else do? They alter the phase, Charlie. They alter the PHASE, Charlie. And then they focus, and they can do what? Customize an electromagnetic what, Charlie? Field. And those electromagnetic fields, Mr. Charlie, are what are changing the biosensors in vivo. That's inside the body, in situ, at its origin. Or else we couldn't offer precision AI healthcare. Now, why did we need the metamaterials? Why did we need the 6G in order to do that, sir? Because we already have something that you can watch at La Quinta La Colomna called neural modulation. I go over it on my channel as well. It's been out there mandated since the 50s with the National Security Agency. We watch every synaptic response in the brain at 5100 bits. Then we take a transcript of whatever changes that we make with a division of science called proteomics. So again, this is addressed to Charlie at Lookout for Charlie. He either doesn't know this stuff legitimately, or he does and he's working it out. Either way, the brain imaging library bill that I'm always referring to has to do with this neural modulation. Back to what I was saying at the beginning, sir. We have a frequency oscillator on your wireless. We're watching everything you got going on. Imaging library assay, ASSAY. We are not just driving voice to skull. We are changing the cellular voltage inside your body by cell state, by internal organ, by lymphatic, by synthetic biology, by perturbating your biofield with or without our now pulse spectrum, not spread spectrum, Doppler. Period. And we're watching it all with these brain imaging assays, bad band assays, which is biofield analysis device, body area network. So this whole thing about no, we're only using extremely low frequency needs to stop. If the signal were only coming from the outside, sir, we wouldn't be in the position we're already in for 18 and 28 years deployed, which is where the problem is. Why did they need the metamaterials, sir? You should be able to answer this question immediately. Because if I'm only hitting you with a signal from the outside, well, then I'm not getting it in you. Now you're breathing it in. The biosensors are DNA analyte derivative transduced out of your own tissues, your own polynucleotides, peptides, amino chains, whatever inside of you that the electricity grabs for. The piezo compression of the mechanical stress of you walking around, like we use with the wireless body area network for postural routing protocols if you're sitting or standing. Okay, that's channel aggregation, which I'm going to show you on a different piece of paper here in a moment. But first of all, I need to draw your attention back to electromagnetic waves that were ordered for human DNA and how they fuck with people. They were having trouble getting them through the wireless and staying the same. Why? Read it. You're smart. You know exactly why. So the metamaterials take away that distance, line of sight problem. Yeah, and it's as simple as fucking with their wireless router. or internal galvanic energy, human body communication, because they don't need the mix anymore. That's the 60s, that's old. I want to hit that biosensor. Now I need a plethora of MAC IDs, like they mentioned here, don't I? Yeah, but that's not enough. I also need to be able to hit different internal organs, different proprietary operating systems on biosensors too. Yeah, and I got an app for that. And so does my county board person. Now I'm sitting there and I'm telling people there's only one signal, it's voice to skull. No, that's not how we use Omnet. That's a networking software where we look through the body. I've shown this on the channel. They use it, they're looking through infants. They use it, they're looking through individual bodies for different frequencies on those biosensors. This is mandated by our FCC, therefore you need to be aware of it. That's why this thing with the earbuds is so interesting to me. I'm hoping that you're going to finally illuminate it. But you people out there that are addicted to, oh, we only have the sound coming from the outside. Roar. You have to tell them the truth about what we've been doing inside the body. You can't just talk about what we've been doing outside the body. Almost done good. So, here is your math. The truth is not hard, they stole a body part. That's the literal formula for decoupling your Schumann resonance by the golden ratio. This is all over technical documents. So when we pretend there's no wireless body area network, and there's no biosensors, and there's no wireless sensor networks, we are in a shit ton of trouble. Because then we're pretending that the signal only comes from the outside in. No, it does not. We generate our own photons as well. It propagates out through our DNA. They knew all this. And they've had brain-to-brain since 2014. So, they've been in the body since 2005, commercially. They've been building virtual light communication for the biodigital convergence, which is the terahertz to gigahertz, making a physical change for the metaverse as well as telehealth. You cannot continue on your platform telling people it's just the ELF and a band shell effect. That's not how our new systems work, because they're not new. 28 years for the wireless body area network and 18 years for the biosensors. They lied. They're using an optogenetic network with the National Science Foundation right now and since 2004. It's called biophotonics. Some more. And to verify that, as well as what I kept telling you I'm going to show you with that routing protocol.
That people in my community, the academic research community, have performed, which I don't think most people know about, and I think they're very interesting and scary. And this talk is kind of a greatest hits of the academic security community's hacks. None of the work is my work, it's all work that my colleagues have done, and I actually asked them for their slides and incorporated them into this talk. So the first one I'm going to talk about are implanted medical devices. Now, medical devices have come a long way technologically. You can see in 1926 the first pacemaker was invented. In 1960 the first internal pacemaker was implanted, hopefully a little smaller than that one that you see there. And technology has continued to move forward. In 2006, we hit an important milestone from the perspective of computer security. And why do I say that? Because that's when implanted devices inside of people started to have networking capabilities. One thing that brings us close to home is we look at Dick Cheney's device. He had a device that pumped blood from an aorta to another part of the heart. And as you can see at the bottom there, it was controlled by a computer controller. And if you ever thought that software reliability was very important, get one of these inside of you. Now, what a research team did was they got their hands on what's called an ICD. This is a defibrillator, and this is a device that goes into a person to control their heart rhythm. And these have saved many lives. Well, in order to not have to open up the person every time you want to reprogram their device or do some diagnostics on it, they made the thing be able to communicate wirelessly. And what this research team did is they reverse engineered the wireless protocol, and they built the device you see pictured here with a little antenna that could talk the protocol to the device and thus control it. In order to make their experience real, they were unable to find any volunteers, and so they went and they got some ground beef and some bacon, and they wrapped it all up to about the size of a human being's area where the device would go, and they stuck the device inside it to perform their experiment somewhat realistically. They launched many, many successful attacks. One that I'll highlight here is changing the patient's name. I don't know why you would want to do that, but I sure wouldn't want that done to me. And they were able to change therapies, including disabling the device. And this is with a real commercial off-the-shelf device, simply by performing reverse engineering and sending wireless signals to it. There was a piece on NPR that some of these ICDs could actually have their performance disrupted simply by holding a pair of headphones onto them. Now, wireless and the internet can improve healthcare greatly. There are several examples up on the screen of situations where doctors are looking to implant devices inside of people. And all of these devices now, it's standard that they communicate wirelessly. And I think this is great, but without a full understanding of trustworthy computing, and without understanding what attackers can do and the security risks from the beginning, there's a lot of danger in this. Okay, let me shift gears and show you another target. I'm going to show you a few different targets like this, and that's my topic. So we'll look at automobiles. This is a car, and it has a lot of components, a lot of electronics in it today. In fact, it's got many, many different computers inside of it, a bit more millenniums than my lab did when I was in college. And they're connected by a wired network. There's also a wireless network in the car, which can be reached from many different ways. So there's Bluetooth, there's the FM and XM radio, there's actually Wi-Fi, there are sensors in the wheels that wirelessly communicate the tire pressure to a controller on board. The modern car is a sophisticated multi-computer device. And what happens if somebody wanted to attack this? Well, that's what the researchers that I'm going to talk about today did. They basically stuck an attacker on the wired network and on the wireless network. Now, they have two areas they can attack. One is short-range wireless, where you can actually communicate with the device from nearby, either through Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. And the other is long-range, where you can communicate with the car through the cellular network or through one of the radio stations. Think about it, when a car receives a radio signal, it's processed by software. That software has to receive and decode the radio signal and then figure out what to do with it, even if it's just music that it needs to play on the radio. And that software that does that decoding, if it has any bugs in it, could create a vulnerability for somebody to hack the car. The way that the researchers did this work is they read the software in the computer chips that were in the car, and then they used sophisticated reverse engineering tools to figure out what that software did, and then they found vulnerabilities in that software, and then they built exploits to exploit those. They actually carried out their attack in real life. They bought two cars, and I guess they have better budgets than I do. The first threat model was to see what someone could do if an attacker actually got access to the internal network on the car. Okay, so think of that as someone gets to go to your car, they get to mess around with it, and then they leave, and now what kind of trouble are you in? The other threat model is that they contact you in real time over one of the wireless networks like the cellular or something like that, never having actually gotten physical access to your car. This is what their setup looks like for the first model, where you get to have access to the car. They put a laptop and they connected to the diagnostic unit on the in-car network, and they did all kinds of silly things, like here's a picture of the speedometer showing 140 miles an hour when the car's in park. Once you have control of the car's computers, you can do anything. Now you might say, okay, that's silly. Well, what if you make the car always say it's going 20 miles an hour slower than it's actually going? You might produce a lot of speeding tickets. Then they went out to an abandoned airstrip with two cars, the target victim car and the chase car, and they launched a bunch of other attacks. One of the things they were able to do from the chase car is apply the brakes on the other car, simply by hacking the computer. They were able to disable the brakes. They also were able to install malware that wouldn't kick in and wouldn't trigger until the car was doing something like going over 20 miles an hour or something like that. The results are astonishing, and when they gave this talk, even though they gave this talk at a conference to a bunch of computer security researchers, everybody was gasping. They were able to take over a bunch of critical computers inside the car. The brakes computer, the lighting computer, the engine, the dash, the radio, etc. And they were able to perform these on real commercial cars that they purchased using the radio network. They were able to compromise every single one of the pieces of software that controlled every single one of the wireless capabilities of the car. All of these were implemented successfully. How would you steal a car in this model? Well, you compromise the car by a buffer overflow vulnerability in the software, something like that. You use the GPS in the car to locate it. You remotely unlock the doors through the computer that controls that, start the engine, bypass anti-theft, and you've got yourself a car. Surveillance was really interesting. The authors of the study have a video where they show themselves taking over a car and then turning on the microphone in the car and listening in on the car while tracking it via GPS on a map. And so that's something that the drivers of the car would never know was happening. Scaring you yet? Got a few more of these interesting ones. These are ones where I went to a conference and my mind was just blown, and I said I have to share this with other people. This was Fabian Monrose's lab at the University of North Carolina. And what they did was something intuitive once you see it, but kind of surprising. They videotaped people on a bus, and then they post-processes the video. And what you see here in number one, what you see here in number one is a reflection in somebody's glasses of the smartphone that they're typing in. They wrote software to stabilize, even though they were on a bus and maybe someone's holding their phone at an angle, to stabilize the phone, process it, and you may know on your smartphone when you type a password, the keys pop out a little bit, and they were able to use that to reconstruct what the person was typing, and had a language model for detecting typing. What was interesting is, by videotaping on a bus, they were able to produce exactly what people on their smartphones were typing. And then they had a surprising result, which is that their software had not only done it for their target, but other people who accidentally happened to be in the picture, they were able to produce what those people had been typing. And that was kind of an accidental artifact of what their software was doing. I'll show you two more. One is P25 radios. P25 radios are used by law enforcement and all kinds of government agencies and people in combat to communicate, and there's an encryption option on these phones. This is what the phone looks like. It's not really a phone, it's more of a two-way radio. Motorola makes the most widely used one, and you can see that they're used by Secret Service, they're used in combat. It's a very, very common standard in the US and elsewhere. So one question the researchers asked themselves is, could you block this thing, right? Could you run a denial of service? Because these are first responders. So would a terrorist organization want to black out the ability of police and fire to communicate at an emergency? They found that there's this Girl-Tech device used for texting that happens to operate at the same exact frequency as the P25, and they built what they called My First Jammer. If you look closely at this device, it's got a switch for encryption or clear text. Let me advance the slide, and now I'll go back. You see the difference? This is plaintext. This is encrypted. There's one little dot that shows up on the screen and one little tiny turn of the switch. And so the researchers asked themselves, I wonder how many times very secure, important, sensitive conversations are happening on these two-way radios where they forget to encrypt and they don't notice that they didn't encrypt. So they bought a scanner. These are perfectly legal, and they run at the frequency of the P25. And what they did is they hopped around frequencies and they wrote software to listen in. If they found encrypted communication, they stayed on that channel, and they wrote down that's the channel that these people communicate in, these law enforcement agencies. And they went to 20 metropolitan areas and listened in on conversations that were happening at those frequencies. They found that in every metropolitan area, they would capture over 20 minutes a day of clear text communication. So what kind of things were people talking about? Well, they found the names and information about confidential informants. They found information that was being recorded in wiretaps, a bunch of crimes that were being discussed, sensitive information. It was mostly law enforcement and criminal. They went and reported this to the law enforcement agencies after anonymizing it, and the vulnerability here is simply the user interface wasn't good enough. If you're talking about something really secure and sensitive, it should be really clear to you that this conversation is encrypted. That one's pretty easy. The last one I thought was really cool. I just had to show it to you. It's probably not something that you're going to lose sleep over, like the cars or the defibrillators, but it's stealing keystrokes. Now, we've all looked at smartphones upside down. Every security expert wants to hack a smartphone. And we tend to look at the USB port, the GPS for tracking, the camera, the microphone. But no one up till this point had looked at the accelerometer. The accelerometer is the thing that determines the vertical orientation of the smartphone.
And I pull it up on the channel.
And so they had a simple setup. They put a smartphone next to a
temperature
keyboard.
aware, K-hop, routing, protocol, through your wireless spotty area network, Internet of Medical Things protocols with oscillatory Bluetooth that can change its bioelectromagnetic frequency, channel allocation, bootstrap to another device, gain more power, check a database, pull a consensus for the distributed ledger the distributed ledger technology we're using for what? The medical body area network, not your blockchain Bitcoin currency. They're different. They both use your graph acrylic stuff and your hypergraph text protocol with your N-sphere math. It's all the same metaverse. It's all the same ubiquitous computing. It's all the same air molecules using the same cognitive threat warfare technology since 2012 with the same net-centric warfare technology that the international community's been bitching about. That's biosensors again. Biosensors on the bottom of the ocean, biosensors in agriculture, biosensors in all the dogs, cats, leaves, and everything else in the whole world. So why then did they leave humans out? They didn't tell anybody the wireless body area network has been around since the 90s because they built an optogenetic network in 2004 and they're done with it. It's running. So we went from dial-up to broadband and now we're going from broadband to body area network. And how are we doing it? People go to work doing something called drone operations, databases, and all sorts of jobs for AT&T and different companies. And they work at computers in which they wear an EEG headset or ultrasound in your sensors or sensors open system approach with all 5 branches of the military that they can log into with multiple systems. Again, the right protocol for your body, the right algorithm for your body, and then the right channel aggregation for what we want to change cellularly, but it's only inside of you and only for your DNA. Yeah, no fucking problem. It's right here. And it's mandated since 2012 with that same cognitive warfare technology for your fucking kill box that is also mandated internationally because we're routing computer fucking technology through human bodies since 2005 commercially. And they do know what they're doing, Charlie, because they have to adhere to the following. I'm going to read this to you now so you understand how mathematical this really fucking is and how dangerous it is because they're killing people, sir. They're subtly electrocuting people from the inside out and the outside in simultaneously. Supervised machine learning algorithms for bioelectromagnetics. Prediction models and feature selection techniques. That's your Digi-ID with Geomancer and Spellcaster. For people paying attention, anytime you see feature values, you need to be thinking digital ID, whether it's with the CBDC or an API, because that's what we're pulling to create, mapping a coordinate into a vector of mathematical space in the ubiquitous computing around your head. This is also how your gaming and your metaverse works. It's all the same systems. Your body is the network. So, supervised machine learning algorithms for bioelectromagnetics prediction models and feature selection techniques using data from weak radiofrequency radiation effect on human and animal cells. Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, the University of Melbourne, Parkville, VIC, 3010 Australia, 2020, revision for public health. Received the 31st of March 2020, revised the 10th of June 2020, accepted the 18th of June 2020, published the 26th of June 2020. Machine learning, stochastic modeling, and applied statistics for electromagnetic frequency exposure assessment, abstract. The emergence of new technologies to incorporate and analyze data with high-performance computing has expanded our capability to accurately predict any incident. Supervised machine learning can be utilized for a fast and consistent prediction and to obtain the underlying pattern of the data better. We develop a prediction strategy for the first time using supervised machine learning to observe the possible impact of weak radiofrequency electromagnetic field, RF-EMF, on human and animal cells without in vitro laboratory experiments. We extracted laboratory experimental data from 300 peer-reviewed scientific publications from 1990 to 2015. Describing 1,127 experimental case studies of human and animal cells' response to weak radio frequency electromagnetic fields. We use domain knowledge, principal component analysis, and the chi-squared feature selection techniques to select 6 optimal features for computation and cost efficiency. We then develop grouping or clustering strategies to allocate these features into 5 different
Hello. Testing 1, 2. Checking 1, 2. There's nothing weird about it. There's nothing weird about it. Pretty heavy stuff. Running the body area network here. Is it all working?
Yeah, looks like it.
Alright. Okay, so my microphone cord sounds a little fucked up, but that's okay. That's okay. We can make do. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just on my phone here. Sorry, guys. I'm just so sorry here. Just got a lot going on here. Okay. Nice. It looks good. I like it. Okay, so there's yeah. Welcome to There's Nothing Weird About It. I want to make sure to hold on tight. You better hold on tight too, because it's all going away. Everything's going away. And we're gonna have a time traveler here to make that case for us and tell us the truth about that and how it's actually gonna happen. But geez, I mean, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since we've touched toes and gotten reacquainted and all of the good things. There's nothing weird about it. Glad you're tuned in. If you are, want to thank Sabrina Wallace. Want to thank Avi, whatever his name is here. What's this? Avi Rubin. Oh, Rubin. Speaking of Rubin, probably related to the Rubin. A lot of people have been talking about this on the Twitter sphere, the X sphere. So there's a bit of a complication with our handlers and stuff, and we've got a bit of a divide. We don't know where we can't have a voice in this whole thing, but you know, this kid, Jacob Collier, basically is kind of like an evangelical for soul music, I guess, or some kind of something like that, and he's taken Rick Rubin to the fucking, you know, putting the gun to his head and saying, the stuff that you do is uncreative. And I think that's quite a challenge. We're a little bit like confused about what we should do other than just comment on like what's going on and what's already been said in the news, but we're not trying to get, you know, anybody in trouble here, but we just kind of don't know where we stand, you know?
No, Daddy and Daddy are fighting.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, we're big music fans here at Nothing Weird, so when those two get into a spat,
Yeah, and we can't decide.
it's a real problem.
And a lot of us think still that like maybe this is a continuation of the family values conspiracy. Maybe it's a handoff. You know, where it's like, okay, Rick Rubin's maybe handing off the talent to Jacob Collier as their new generation for the new Family Values Conspiracy. That looks a lot more like a kind of evangelical return to the community and things like that, you know, where yeah, it's a lot of people coming together and participating and singing in key together, and it's really beautiful, I mean, in a lot of ways. But by the same token, I mean, is that what we want? Do we want to be, does everybody want to be just feel good about it all, you know? And I'm not sure, like, how revolutionary really Jacob's energy is. If it's just going to be more Pfizer Moderna stuff, or if maybe this is a Pfizer versus Moderna kind of thing, or you know.
Yeah, he kind of looks like the kid from the You'll Own Nothing and Be Happy.
Yeah, I could see him doing that.
That sort of kid.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a musical Greta.
Greta.
Yeah, he's like a musical Greta.
Yeah.
Almost.
He's a Trojan horse of some kind.
Foreign, beloved by everyone.
Yeah, and we were speculating that he's probably from South Africa.
Yeah.
I think that's probably true. Not sure about that at all, but
That is interesting. I do wonder if he actually is.
we could look it up, I guess.
What's the kid's name again?
Jacob Collier.
Jacob Collier.
And then so we're gonna have a time traveler on tonight, you know, as we usually do, because this is just a portal here that we've opened up in the garage that just happens to catch all these different people that drift through. A lot of times we just have to tell them to move along, you know, this isn't where you want to be. But sometimes they have some interesting stories and a little bit of insight. And so we got one of them on tonight. I kind of am blanking on his name. So you want to shout it out to me, the audience? Audience, want to shout that name out to me? I forget what that name was. Simon. Simon, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
While we're waiting for him to come out, we could learn a little bit about Jacob. He's English.
Oh.
In 2023, he has split screen video covering Stevie Wonder's Don't You Worry About a Thing.
Oh, wow.
In 2014, he signed with Quincy Jones. He began working. This is bizarre. He began working on his one-man audiovisual live performance vehicle designed and built at the MIT Media Lab.
Whoa.
By Ben Bloomberg.
Okay, there we go.
He was given Grammy Awards for Flintstone song.
Flintstone
He's a
song.
healthy kid, I guess. I don't
He's
know.
just really healthy, yeah. Perfect pitch, just a healthy young boy.
And so, yeah, I mean, yeah. His early life, his mother's a violinist, conductor, blah, blah. Grandfather's a violinist and taught at the Royal Academy.
Royal Academy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so there's a little bit of something there, maybe.
Yeah.
So he's definitely shoot in.
Yeah. I mean, maybe all the energy, you know, the royal family's like, dying of cancer and everything. What ended up happening there? Remember they said
Not sure.
they tried to fake 3 different times. They tried to fake that lady, and it was deep fake, and then they just said, like,
Yeah.
and then they never showed her.
Yeah, they said she had cancer, right?
Uh-huh.
Doesn't she have cancer?
Yeah,
And
right.
the other one has cancer.
Charles.
Yeah, okay.
Died in a week.
So they all got cancer.
Um,
They all got shot with a cancer gun.
yeah, and yet this kid's so healthy.
Yeah, that's what's sus about him. How healthy he is.
Yeah, for a British guy,
For a
actually.
British guy,
He's
he
supposed
just,
to be British,
he's
so
so
he's
spry.
great, yeah.
He's always wearing this like African printed kind of like
Uh-huh.
ensembles
Yeah.
and stuff, and which makes him a little bit, that's where I thought the South African thing, you know, maybe he was,
He's like a Thornberry.
yeah, he's like a real life Thornberry kid come to life. Well, that's good, that's a good Thornberry song.
Yeah, well,
We're getting a Discovery Channel here.
yeah, that kid's supposed to be British. That's crazy, actually.
Yeah.
He looks like a Twilight vampire.
Yeah, I know.
Level of immortality compared to...
Exactly. Yeah, he's just he's gonna be forever young for sure.
Yeah, he's like that one guy who uses his son's blood transfusions to get younger and shit.
Maybe they just started giving all of the blood to him or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And somehow all the adrenochrome got
Funneled to him from an early age, probably.
I know, they've been saving it up.
Probably how he got perfect pitch.
It does make you wonder what the end. I guess we could ask Simon when he gets on. What the end result for that guy is. He's like a red heifer almost or something.
No, he's gonna get fucking martyred at some point here.
They're gonna throw him on top.
He's gonna get like assassinated like a John Lennon almost.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. His Imagine will come out at some point when like the world's about to break out into full-blown war, and the Antichrist is about to take the throne, and he'll have a song and he'll get assassinated probably. I can see that.
That would be funny if he got like a Yoko-style girlfriend.
I'd like that. That'd be
He
good.
just gets hooked on heroin.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's way too sober. He's way too sober.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
He's doing the drugs that make you seem like you're sober constantly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that... I don't understand that. Just wake up every day like, wow!
Exactly.
Isn't this... Yeah. Anything's possible as long as you imagine it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's so psychotic.
Yeah, it's gonna. That's what makes him so scary.
I know, I'm surprised he's not from Israel, too.
Yeah.
I really, truly believe that in Israel they, like, pump amphetamine into the water.
Mm-hmm.
But there was some other thing the other day, too, that was about MDMA and how they invented MDMA
Yep.
in Israel.
Yeah, they're a big part of the ecstasy production, I think.
Yeah, and that whole party, everyone was doing ecstasy.
Yeah.
Right on the border of, like,
Yeah.
people getting shoved into cages and killed and shit.
And in that way, yeah, it
Just
makes
having
it
a fun party right next to it.
even much more of like the levels of the like MK Ultra / military false flag / this that, like it's everything rolled into one. All the things, all of the conspiracies and stuff think about and talk about, it's all of that rolled into one. And you've got crisis actors in a sense, you know, or like people that aren't from Israel that are there that are used as the icons of the message. That German woman. I mean, it's like, okay, what did Israel do to save them? Nothing. If actually they probably killed most of them. But here we go. Here we got Simon the Time Traveler.
Hey, welcome, Simon.
Is Simon in the shot here?
Sure.
Okay, Simon.
Is this what the music in the future sounds like?
This must be futuristic music. Do you have a microphone, or you just wait? You got free balling out? We can go back and forth. Okay.
Well, it came from the future naked. I mean, I know you've seen it in the movies where they show up naked and covered in goo. Yeah. Well, I've done that a few times. So, no microphone, so thank you for accommodating, Mr. Tech.
That's good. It's like when you get the pat down. It's like, dude, I never have a mic. I'm never going to have a mic on me. And that's nice for people that like, you know, that are worried about stuff like that, like P. Diddy and shit. Did you see that video of P. Diddy? I'm sure you've seen it this week in the future, but you see that video of P. Diddy patting down Justin Bieber and like a weird hug. He kind of pats him down on the chest multiple times and he whispers something in his ear. Yeah. But
We do a drill like that for in the future. We do the same pat down, but it's kind of like, you know, when you're checking your fellow man for various symbiotes and different parasites and stuff. You're checking, going over there.
So nobody's worried about COVID in the future because that seems like you'd be getting pretty close to each other.
I mean, I won't say that, but it's
Only on the solar cycles.
what if COVID would turn into like a subgenre of like fusion jazz?
I love subgenres and niche genres like on Spotify. I love that shit.
Yeah.
So what if COVID turned into that?
That'd be cool. That could be cool. I could get like into that niche like long COVID community where it's like I'm always sick. I'm a mom who lives in Israel. I'm a Zionist, happy, proud Zionist. I'm always sick now. I just somehow I'm always sick.
I've got IBS.
I got IBS and then I took the vaccination 3 times and now I'm always sick.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, in the future, and we just sort of, I don't want to say we capitalize on it because capitalism doesn't really exist, but what we did do is we commodified it. We commodified COVID, so it's something a little bit more interesting than what we all have today. It's like I said, it's fusion jazz. It's like if Fred Durst was a slightly better person. There's a lot going on there. But yeah.
I think that Fred Durst is going to have that opportunity because he's like going to head up some disclosure movement, I think, and stuff. I think after kind of Tom DeLonge and stuff, him are teaming up on some level, I think, and so he'll have that opportunity to kind of tell everybody that he is a better person. I think he already did have a couple of shows where he came out as like kind of a cowboy, and stuff, and everyone's like, what? Like, this guy's a cowboy. And so he's kind of slowly revealing himself, slowly showing who he really is, I think. And eventually he'll be like a fully revealed, transparent human being that he's just like revealing all things, and he'll be a truth teller,
Yeah, and I think that's sort of what, the whole new narrative, the turnaround of what the original to the Star Wars Academy thing, what we thought it was just like, well, this is a very welcoming 2001 Space Odyssey sort of adventure. But, I'm, like I said, I'm from the future, so my understanding of this new movement of TTSA 2 is more like the Wild Wild West. So we're treating it like, the original... because I'm not really a part of this whole movie. I really don't agree with it. I think it's kind of...
When you say they, what do you mean, like, I don't want to say, but...
So, without giving too much away or like spoilers from the future and to ruin one or more of our timelines that we're all kind of in here, I will say, not too many spoilers. I think this would be okay to say. There are a few corporations that run everything at that point, and that's all I can really give away from there. So yeah, basically it gets to a point where they just all I forgot what we were talking about. Can you remind Mr. Tech?
I mean, when you were talking about a lot of things, you started to make me think about a few different things, but do you got any input there over there?
Yeah, what I was thinking is about, they probably don't have wires in the future, like P. Diddy was patting down, Justin Bieber looking for a wire.
True.
But in the future, and I mean actually in the present day, this is all part of a body area network anyway.
Sure.
So it's nothing
At some point, yeah, it's like you might not even have a mic on you. Maybe you agreed when you on your device. Maybe you agreed. You said allow all times, and they didn't realize it. Like, I had this idea that when you open up that black box of your new phone, it's like an anthrax box where like it's like graphene puffs out. And you start get a whiff of it, and all of a sudden you're like integrated with your device automatically, and it knows who you are, and that's how you can upgrade your device quickly. Like you can get because it's like I hate having to my contacts get over to the next thing and stuff, and re-download all the apps. So I'd rather just like huff some dust and have that work automatically, because eventually somebody's going to compromise your finger. That's not going to work anymore. The finger authentication's not going to work. They can take a picture of your face. That's not going to work with a tooth. That's not going to work. So that's something I wanted to ask you about. Like, I see the way you have the way you're hiding yourself, and the way it makes me think that there's multiple. How many layers of authentication for security devices and stuff are we working with in the future, where it's because we're gonna get hacked, because everything's gonna get hacked, right? Every single part of my body can be hacked.
Well, the thing is, kid your kidney could be hacked in the future. Where I come from, your sphincter could be hacked, and there's a lot of cruel oh God, the jokes that people do to hack a person's sphincter. I mean, there's a college humor site thing that exists now, like something adjacent to that as far as what I think you guys around this time period are dealing with. But oh boy, I will say, like, when someone commandeers another person's sphincter and has it filmed with, nanobots that are just around the sphincter and how it aligns to, just imagine a camera on this part of the sphincter, on this part of the outer sphincter, left, right, north, south, and almost like in a very sigilistic way. Oh boy.
That sounds like a kind of form of swatting, but almost with a more esoteric overlay, because almost in a way you're kind of sodomizing someone virtually or like remotely in a weird, like potentially ritualistic kind of satanic.
You're not wrong. I mean, that's essentially, it's abuse. I mean, in so many ways, the future is just not what we hoped it would turn out to be, boys. So I guess the one thing that, before I do end up going, and before I forget, like, my overall narrative, what I came here to talk about is, in the future, we all live underground. We're all under there, and we have togetherness and caves, and when you're there, you just gotta be, cave people. You think about Fraggle Rock, stuff like that. It's kind of helpful to think about things like that. But we just live underground, because that's, in the future, that's what we're doing. I mean, I love you land dwellers. Don't get me wrong. I love you land dwellers, and to be here on land and just, breathing the land air, that's pretty cool. It's not like quartz air. A little different. Things are a little different. And we travel.
You adapted to the quartz air.
We adapt to the quartz air. We travel. We go places. Not unlike the Dude movie stuff, but, the one thing I will say is, one of our currencies that we have in the future, I know this is kind of based on some, other, like, different lore. I can talk about everything, but, like, in the future, your melons, watermelons.
Okay.
In the future, we use the watermelon seeds as currency.
Interesting. I thought, my mama always told me if you swallow a watermelon seed, it'll grow up inside of your belly.
Well, for us, it's good luck in the future. So, watermelon, just like the watermelon, the color of the watermelon.
Kind of like a nanobot, though, like you were saying there. And there is a little bit of overlay there. So it's like you take that little part of inside.
Yeah, just like even the color of the watermelon's good luck. We have, it's like a just, you go to gift shops and just nowadays, not nowadays, in the future, well, apparently, we just remember the idea of the watermelon and the colors of the watermelon being a good thing. And I think there was something that was part of, like, our struggle of just, even, we live underground now. So I can't really say what happened in the past, but yeah, watermelon seeds.
Interesting. Well, you plant a seed and it grows into something. You know that much, right? I mean, everybody knows that. Interesting with the seeds in the watermelon. I wonder about that, because that's symbology, the way it works in the future and things like that.
You're saying something about the, I believe just off camera, you're talking about that Rick Rubin fellow. So.
Oh yeah. You got some information about him and that other kid that he's fighting with, that Jacob kid?
So, in the future, there's something that was sort of pivotal where if we had the power to harness, I can't really dox or talk about certain things, but in the future we could travel back in time. So in order to at least be a fly on the wall with the Rick Rubin situation, but at the same time, it's sort of inevitable, and it's actually a part of why I'm even able to come back in this timeline. So it might be more like of a, I don't know, like a 12 Monkeys thing, where if that didn't happen with Rick Rubin, I wouldn't even be talking to you guys right now. So I don't know.
So you think maybe by him getting usurped, his power getting usurped a little bit, that maybe we're stepping into a new age, new aeon with the music industry.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. So we just have to allow certain events to happen, just like in, the Netflix miniseries, as we're like, okay, well, that sort of makes sense. This character had to talk to this one, and it's I get it. Yeah, I think you hit it right on the nail there.
Okay, so I got one last question. Do you got one last question?
No, go ahead.
So, tell us after all, is it still his story, or does it ever become her story?
So in the future, there's they story.
Okay.
Sorry, I said they story. I'm a little bit winded from I was covered with goo earlier from traveling.
Being on Nickelodeon.
Traveling back in time was just covered in goo. And
Were you one of the kids that traveled back in time and got gacked or whatever on Nickelodeon, probably, huh?
Well, no, but I do know some of them, and that's part of how we do travel back in time, is we know what the goo does.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. So there's more to that than just a fantasy of coming on a kid.
There's a lot more to that.
Interesting.
What color is cum in the future? Is it actually green?
It's a greenish. It's more emerald, I guess. There's an emerald color to it. Yeah.
Majestic almost. Yeah. Some majesty to that.
Shoot, what was the question you were just asking me though? I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. You don't need to even answer that question. I think that it gets complicated. I think because X exists now, so it's all X history. We're all getting past it. X history. Exorcism? Are we all getting exorcised or circumcised?
One thing I will say to that, it's their story. And in the future, we just have different, you ever play that game, Myst?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the game Myst. So we all have different just libraries and stuff where, luckily, there ain't no weirdos that have gaslings and burn them down. But, yeah, we just, we have different things, in the future, it's cool. Like, we're just kind of like, the old vaporwave thing.
Sure, so you got malls, dead malls underground and stuff like that?
We have cool dead malls underground. We have a very kind of zero escape aesthetic of just
liminal spaces just forever.
I mean, in the future, okay, so think about it. Every 20 years, certain things come around, and where I'm coming from, I can't tell how many years from now. I'm not allowed to tell you.
Time traveler cops say no. Time cops. The time cop. We've seen the movie.
So everyone's pretty well behaved in the future.
Sounds like it.
Well, we try to be.
Hey, you seem like you're a little bit of an outlaw. That's what I'm wondering. Why are you so, hidden?
Well, the reason why, part of it is because when I do go back, I will be arrested when I go back to my original timeline.
So you're an outlaw.
I am technically an outlaw. I'm a cloutlaw. I'm a cloutlaw.
No shit. So you've been on so many podcasts over time. You've been hopping podcast to podcast to podcast to screencast to fucking... I see. Interesting. So somehow you were able to virtualize and then re-engineer to make a physical version of yourself. Maybe it's even like a hologram. But it seems like meat. But again, graphene does crazy stuff, so interesting.
Also a little bit of carbon fiber does a little bit of the trick,
Yeah, actually, I was kind of curious too. So those pranks about controlling the sphincter. So it's like the future is like nanosodomy.
Yeah.
I would just say if you had nanobots and you could pull pranks on your friend's anatomy, that's sort of a thing sort of rite of passage of just anyone. You're young, you just I want to be cool if I did this with my friend's kidney.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, so everyone's seen that show, The Three Body Problem now. It's on Netflix, right? And they have this string of nano line that they put across the, what is it, the Panama Canal or something? What is it? Is that what it is? You're the history buff. And it slices everybody in half. So imagine if that just went up your ass.
Yeah, well, there's also just, and I was kind of worried about the other day in the future, where a friend of mine, quote unquote friend, had implanted something in my kidney, and it was a joke. It was a joke. We have jokes in the future. We have complicated jokes in the future. Complicated jokes.
Interesting. I mean, that's good. That's good because, I mean, God, if anything, humor needs more complication again. Everyone's so simple these days. Everyone wants a cut and dry joke. So, I mean, if we can complicate humor again, that sounds great, you know? We can make some good jokes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is he fucking tickling your kidney right now? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Simon. Oh, you might get transported here. He might just fucking get zapped.
Ouch.
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh.
There goes Simon.
Yeah, he's turning into like a pink mist almost.
Yeah, he just vaporized himself out the door. Wow, people.
For it being, such a, we're moving in such a progressive direction.
Uh-huh.
It's strange that there's no body autonomy whatsoever in the future.
No. Bodily autonomy has gone away.
Very strange that other people can just put robots in your ass and shit.
Yeah.
Put up with it.
But the body area network, I mean, bodily autonomy is a feminist idea that died a long time ago, right? It's a little passe.
Sounds like more like my body, your choice.
Yeah. I would say so. And I think that's probably the better way because a lot of women don't really know what they want, you know. Someone else's choice.
What they, them.
They, them. You see, that's exactly. So there's things that get complicated here. Very complicated. You can't have a cut and dry, simple answer, you know, because everybody can get pregnant, you know. It's.
I know, that sounds even crazier. That was interesting when he was saying about coming here and being totally naked or whatever, because I wonder if because then I was thinking of Fred Durst, and it's like, did he come here? I just kind of pictured Fred Durst, but naked, with just his red hat on, washing up on the beach somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And going straight to the Twin Towers, like, right away.
And worshipping them, falling before them. He almost like felt like, yeah, just could be like fall between them and like a fountain or something and just kind of grow.
It's still so funny that in that music video, he had a bunch of girls dress up like him, dance around with him.
It's like every single one of his videos is like that.
I want a bunch of girls to dress exactly like me and dance around.
I think Roland's like that. I think that one's like that. The chainsaw one's like that, or whatever. They're all like that. Or same with even Nookie, like fairly similar.
Yeah. It's a strange choice, man.
Interesting.
Strange
Yeah.
choice.
I think him coming into the truth teller role will be a good thing. He'll have a lot of truth to tell.
What in the hell is he possibly going to say?
I don't know.
I can't think of a single thing that would be okay for him to talk about.
I don't know.
Regarding
I'm
disclosure.
hoping that.
Just looking at files that he's been collecting.
Apparently, yeah, he's on it.
You know, it's weird because he looks just like Rick Rubin now. That was something we've.
Yeah, exactly. That's
looked
the
at
thing.
before.
So,
He looks identical to Rick Rubin now.
is there any way to? Yeah, exactly. He's gonna become the replacement.
Here, I think I could probably put something on. Let me just look here. Oh wait, this internet is crap. God damn it.
Here we go. Disclosure. This needs to do something with the UFOs. Fred Durst will talk about aliens.
I thought he just cared more about like big T-shirts and shit. What the hell is he gonna know about aliens?
He's got a lot to say. He's gonna launch a new show. What the fuck? And it's just like, when does it happen? This is March 27th. Ricky Rubin. Little Ricky Rubin.
You making that hip hop again?
Oh, here we go. No, that sounds terrible. Never mind. Metal injection. When's he gonna launch it? Just launch that shit.
Why did Mike Smith quit Limp Bizkit? Do that?
Interesting. They were on Bill Maher's thing, and that's when he talked about it. Apparently. Interesting. Why does Bill Maher have another show besides his other show?
I don't know. That show's hilarious, though. Everyone hates to be on it and everything. I don't know what all this is here, but
frequencies. We're all frequencies. So if you literally run them with a glass of water, certain
Here we go.
frequencies, you can see
This is Fred Durst.
they affect it. And we're full of water.
Is that really? Yeah.
And we have to put
Yeah.
out positive energy.
Are you reading a lot of Popular Mechanics?
No, I'm not.
Is this, where are you getting this?
I'm kind of just
This
kind of
science.
going into the quantum moment of that moment you're talking about, you know, in your story. So I'm just smoking your weed. You've intoxicated me,
I know.
and I'm breaking it down. And actually, I'm getting a insightful, voyeuristic.
What do you think is
view
in
to
Bill
your
Maher's
soul,
weed?
And I think all of us are seeing an
Yikes.
incredible moment where you're talking. Where I
That's
think this
the,
is going to be the podcast, guys. Don't cut to me, because he's saying some great shit, and I ain't saying shit.
You're saying plenty of shit.
No, what I mean is I really am inspired by it.
Oh, good. But about what?
About anything.
But shit.
I thought you just said you knew about the vacuum in space where all the... Which is, why did we get nicer? I forget what he said, but it was very funny. But it's just like, I mean...
Right.
Okay.
The cool part.
Yes.
Seriously, I'm a director, and I'm working with you. I'm handling your ego well.
Okay.
So I go, and
What?
action bit. Because he doesn't want to get my germs.
Oh, yeah. You got the wrong guy there. I
Because
love
your
it.
comedy,
In Northfield, Ohio.
I'd like to see you not break the
the Hard
comedy.
Rock, that's
Because on
Cleveland.
here,
Oh, God, that's just awful.
I know. Yeah, they can't even talk.
That's really bad. Too bad. It's too bad.
That's a shame to see what's become of that guy.
Sick. Sick stuff here. There's nothing weird about it.
Yeah, actually.
You know that much, that's for sure. We're gonna go on here a little jam and smoke break, I think. Get the little tunes rolling here slowly. If you want to sit around for the next 25 minutes and you know,
You know, it's weird. They're I can't find any photos of the two of them together.
who?
Rick Rubin and Fred Durst. I can't
No?
see photos of them two together when I look it up. Maybe I'm just...
Interesting. Yeah.
Has
See,
anyone ever proven that they're not the same guy? Oh wait, there's one. Okay.
let's see here. Let's see here.
Okay, wait, I do see some, I guess. Arguable though. God, Rick Rubin's a fucking idiot.
In the Colin and Samir show. There's this funny myth that you need to somehow know what you're doing, but people who know what they're doing don't make interesting work. It's just as simple as that. And when I saw in the chapters that there was a chapter with the title Debating Rick Collier, whose work I really admire and whose musical genius is known to many people, and that conversation is very good in finding out what his genius is and how he actually deals. This is for everyone. This is for me. And my perspective of this is particular one because I made a lot of my first work for me. So that's not novel to me. What was novel to me at age 20 was to make something for others and with others. That felt new and interesting and inspiring. My trajectory of creativity has gone away from making things for me and towards making things for others, and I love it. And so I worry about...
I absolutely love your perspective and would listen to however.
I absolutely love your perspective.
Was between you, and if that was 10 hours.
I'm glad that he's on the planet, and I'm grateful that he is prompting some of these conversations.
And by now you might be wondering, do you have a point with this? Where do you, Benjamin, want to go?
Shut the fuck up.
Isn't going to make any difference to our heating bill, right? That's what they're saying. It's just that simple. And that's one of the reasons why, perhaps, if they're right, sounds like they are, because we have not seen...
Welcome to Liberty Talk. I'm America. How are they the solution to this hack now where everyone's thumbprint is wrong?
Hey, there's nothing about it. There's that. Thanks for listening to There's Nothing Weird About It.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, you know the drill. Oh God.
Well, yeah, we're gonna be switching to a daily
Stream.
Daily stream every single day.
2 shows, early show and a late show, every day a week.
Every single day. We're picking up where we off here. If you've been tuning in for the last couple of weeks, you know we've been going pretty hard. So we're gonna get more of that. More of that's coming soon. And just given everything that's going on, it's
it's the political climate.
Political climate. Yep. If you're not careful up here.
Oh yeah.
That's so messed up of him to do. He's trying to get Ruben so pissed off. We're trying to hand off the Talon for the family values. We're going to create a new family. You're going to become the family.
The cool family.
The cool family. You're all going to have furry hats now and tie-dye.
Yeah. No marijuana though.
No smoking though. We don't do that in England. No. All right, well, there's nothing weird about it. Good show, mates. Good show. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Time Traveler Simon, and producer Pat in the house.
Yeah.
All right. Hey.
Thank you, Mr. Tick.
Few and far between, but that's all we need.
Uh-huh.
It's like your vaccination.
Yeah, we'll try and do a remote set.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Peace and love.
Everybody.